Hi folks, Tom, your frugal prepper. Um, I'm just gonna kind of do like a little quick video, and it's just gonna be this little picture in the background here. But I'm seeing this kind of thing everywhere I go, which is businesses are saying, "Sorry, our costs have gone up, and we're increasing the prices, so you're gonna have to pay more." Um, and I had an interesting experience this weekend in which I hadn't read the emails and stuff for my health insurance, but I found out that my health insurance is going to kind of suck now. Basically, I went to fill my prescription. It's like, surprise, your share of this is $580. I'm like, what? It used to be less than 100 for everything with my copays. Well, my copays don't apply until I pay for the first $7,000 of everything now, or something crazy. It's some kind of healthcare savings account insurance plan, and so I didn't get my prescriptions, and by the time I got to the doctor today, my blood sugar, my blood pressure is all out of whack and sky high. But anyway, we found some generic medications and a much more cost-effective insulin that takes the place of both of my other insulins. So actually, add it all together now, my monthly costs are going to be less than they were for my copays for all these more expensive medications. So that worked out okay, and you just have to do what you have to do. Um, so I'm happy for that, and I'm glad I didn't get myself all worked up and stressed out about it. I just figured, I'll figure a way out. I always do. Seems like these days I'm so used to financial emergencies popping up that they're just kind of becoming a everyday life. I don't stress out about them. I tell myself, I've got a family, but nobody's dead, and I'm just going to thank the God for every day that I have, and I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to do what I have to do. So I came home and I decided, instead of throwing all these green tomatoes left over on my vines away, I'm going to pick them and throw them in a 5-gallon bucket, and I learned how to make green tomato relish. Um, so I'll be able to eat that and put that in my food storage, and I worked on the garden and I just did stuff, and I went to the doctor today. My car, lost an engine in the car, lost oil pressure. Gonna probably have to end up putting another motor in. So that kind of topped everything off for the weekend. But at least I still have my truck and I can drive it for now. It takes more gas, and I'm gonna have to spend $100 and some to get the tags for the plates because I haven't done that. It's just been at home in the driveway, so I haven't renewed them. So I have to wait till payday to do that. But I watched a video from Goats Hollow, and I thought it kind of applied to what I've been through lately. And that is that a lot of preppers out there are saying, um, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And they are preparing for the worst. You know, there's a lot of preppers out there. I'm preparing for solar flares. I'm preparing for nuclear disaster. I'm preparing for a supervolcano. I'm preparing for a global economic collapse. They're preparing for waking up tomorrow and the world is ended, right? And it's crazy, and it's just like The Walking Dead. Okay, is that really going to happen? I mean, what are the chances? It really could happen. I know some people have played this scenario out in their minds so many times that they really believe that it is going to happen. And I almost think that sometimes they almost seem like they want it to happen because they want that justification, right? They want that affirmation that they were right. I get that. But the truth is, I think there's a whole big area in between the best and the worst. And what if we're not just going to go off of a cliff and the economy is going to collapse and everything's going to be crazy? What if we're going to go down that cliff and we're just going to keep sliding down that slippery slope and we're going to get there slowly? What are you going to do for that whole big area in between where you are now and where we're going to end up? What if we eventually are going to get to the point where we're more like a third world country, but it's going to take 15 years to get there? What are you going to do in the meantime to try to keep your family fed, to keep them healthy, to try to keep some of the things that you have now, and try to keep some of the lifestyle that you have now? You see, one of the things I'm noticing, and I don't blame my company for this, where I have my job, you know, they're going through the same financial problems that I'm going through, but just on a much larger scale. In fact, I work for a nonprofit banking organization known as a credit union, and they only have so much money that they can spend on things. They only have so much interest they can make on their investments to cover their operating costs. So they can't hand out raises when times are bad. Treasury bills are worth nothing, you know? How are they supposed to do this? So I don't blame them. I'm not complaining. I love my job. I really like the work that I do. I like the people that I do it for, and I like the people that I work with. I am blessed to have a job that I really like. For the first time in 20 some years of working, I have a job that I really enjoy. I don't mind working every day. It doesn't seem like work most of the time. Now, but what I realize is I'm still not probably going to get a raise anytime soon. But my costs are going to continue to go up and up and up and up. And my money's going to buy less and less and less. And my insurance is going to cost more. And my utilities are going to cost more. And my mortgage is going to adjust again. And it's going to cost more. And everything's going to go up. And I'm going to have to continue to try to stretch things thin and make ends meet. So, where was I a year ago compared to where I am now? I had a much more limited supply of water on hand. I had maybe a couple weeks worth of water. I now have several hundred gallons. I had much less food on hand and much lower quality of food, just some like ramen noodles, some MREs, stuff like that. I had some 72-hour buckets. But today, I have several hundred gallons of water. I have a pantry with about 6 months worth of food in it, and I'm working to get that up to a year's worth of food. I have some long-term storage food in big buckets that'll last 25 years. Um, I have a communications and electronics plan. I have a Faraday cage because if there's one of those big things that I think could just happen overnight, it's a failure of the power grid from a solar flare. That's maybe the one that I kind of can subscribe to just a little. So, the other thing that I've done in this last year is I have got a gardening method. I have learned a new gardening method. I have done so much reading and learning about it, and I know how to identify plant deficiencies and treat them. I know what the 13 essential nutrients are for plant life. I know how to identify a deficiency for each of those nutrients by looking at the plant. I know how to treat those deficiencies. I know how to feed plants and keep them in that optimal. There's a big difference between a plant that looks healthy to you and top yield. There's that 40% of the plant getting the nutrients it really needs for a top yield, where it'll look healthy, but you only got. I used to plant pepper plants. They looked perfectly healthy, but I got 2 peppers. Now I plant pepper plants, and I get 30 peppers growing at a time, and my plant's 5 feet tall instead of 2 feet tall. Okay? That's the difference between what I call hidden hunger and top yields. And I've learned these things. And so I have a method now to feed my family for an entire year off of what I can grow in one growing season. I have learned how to can and preserve food, cook for my food storage. I've gotten a pressure canner. I've learned how to can low acid foods with the pressure canner. I've learned how to can meat, and I put meat back. So those are all skills that have, I've really come a long way in this last year when I take stock. Sometimes when you're going through it, it always seems like I gotta do more, I gotta do more, I gotta get prepared, I gotta get prepared. But when you really stop and look at everything you've accomplished over a year, you've done a lot in that year's time. And another year has gone by and you haven't woken up to the zombie apocalypse. In this next year, and I've now caught my house payment up completely with this last payment. So my goal is to continue to pay more and extra on all my house payments till I can have a year's worth of payments in advance. I want to pay my utilities ahead by 1 year. I want to pay my auto insurance ahead by 1 year. I want to pay everything ahead 1 year and have some savings. I basically want to be in a position where if I had zero income for a year, I'd be okay. That's my economic insurance. That's my, man, something came up and I can't make the house payment this month insurance. That's my goal over this next year, is to continue to find a way to cut costs and put that extra money towards being that much farther ahead. The other thing that I want to accomplish in this next year, and I've procrastinated on this significantly because I am an animal lover. Okay, I'm the guy that if I hit a bird and nobody's looking, I'll cry about it. You know, I have only ever killed one animal, and I had to do it to defend my life and the life of my son. Um, but I didn't like having to do that. So, um, hunting is kind of a big deal to me, but it's a skill I need to know because although I don't like killing animals, if I'm hungry and I have to feed my family and I can go catch a buck, I would feed my family. Um, so I think I am going to go out hunting this year, and I am going to, you know, try to get a buck and field dress it and clean it. I've been out hunting with friends before, but I've never actually been on a hunting trip where we've caught anything. And I've never planned on actually being the shooter. I've just been along for the walk. So, while morally I don't have anything against hunters, it's just never been for me. But I can see that's a skill I need to know and I need to learn now. So, that's the other thing that I want to accomplish in this following year. I want to continue to build my food stores up to a point where I have a year's worth in my food pantry and more significant amounts of long-term storage foods that I could use. And just continue to prepare for this middle of the road prepping is what I'm going to call it, where things are just going to continue to get worse like they are. We're going to see the same problems we have now but increased. And I'm not so much going to be building the bunker in the backyard because I believe that the nuclear bombs are coming or whatever, right? I'm just going to prepare for more of the same, I think is the point I'm at right now. So, anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments and suggestions, and tell me what you think. And you can feel free to call me a wuss because I don't want to hunt, but that's fine. So anyway, this is Tom and Frugal Prepper. If you like this video and want to see more videos like it, please leave a message to that effect in the comments section, and please like and subscribe.